Hi everybody, my name is Becky Jerams. I'm the author of the Wattpad story Reasons to Love a Nerd Like Me, and in honour of releasing my story on Kindle as an ebook for the first time, I'm going to be answering my top 10 most frequently asked questions from my readers on Wattpad. So here we go! I have always loved boy times boy stories, as they're known. Love stories between two guys. I've loved reading them since I was a teenager, and I used to read manga such as Gravitation and Ginger Romantica, and there's something about these stories that I really love them. I love reading them, and when I sat down to try and write my first novel, I just thought, well, I love reading this stuff, why don't I try and write it myself? And I wanted to add a lot of elements of different things that I'm interested in. I wanted to add music, I wanted to add, theme of bullying and social acceptance, headstrong female characters. I just kind of threw everything I'm interested in into a huge pot, and just wanted to see what would come out the other side, and it came out as Reasons to Love a Nerd Like Me, and it's as simple as that, really. I am from the United Kingdom, England, Portsmouth, down on the south coast. I don't quite know how I got so many followers. I just posted my story up and hoped that people would like it and find it, and they did. I think it helps that I update regularly, that I interact with everybody who reads my story. If someone has taken the time to read my whole story, all 53 chapters, then I can take the time to sit and send them a message and unanswer them and answer any emails that they've sent me, because I'm so grateful for all the time that people take to sit and read my story and engage with the characters I've created. And I just love to chat to my readers, and I will always answer you back if you send me a message. And I think that helps to engage with people if you want them to be interested in your story. I also sent my story to the Wattpad featured list, which really helped give it a bit of a boost and a bit of publicity. If your story on Wattpad is completed, you can send it to the Wattpad features for them to consider putting it on their list. And if it's well written and they enjoy your story and they like it, they'll put it up there for you, and it will really help boost your viewership. But other than that, I mean, when I first posted Nerd, it went for like months with nobody reading it. It had about like 2 reads, and it just sat there completely stagnant, and I didn't think that anybody was going to be interested in it. And then one day this message popped up and it said, this is really good, this should get a little bit more attention, and it really gave me that motivation to keep going with it. I wasn't going to abandon it. So thank you so much to the very, very first people who read Nerd and commented on it, because you don't know what that did for me and the chain reaction that caused, and now it's sitting there with nearly 2.4 million views at the moment, and I never ever would have imagined that would happen when I first uploaded my story. So thank you. This is squash. It is a cordial juice drink. You put it in a glass and you put water on the top, and it's very delicious, and you get it in all kinds of flavours. This is lemon and mango, which is kind of a posh one, but most flavours are kind of like orange, blackcurrant. Usually if anyone comes to your house, you might say, oh, are you thirsty, do you want a cup of tea? And then you might answer, no thanks, have you got any squash please? I fancy something cold. And that is the British way. The reason I decided to make the game Munchie Monsters in the universe of the characters, instead of using Pokemon or a real life game, was because basically I just didn't want to get any of the information wrong. I didn't want to put something in there that wasn't correct, and I don't really know enough about computer games in order to get that information correct, so I figured it would just be safer to create a fake game which was obviously inspired by Pokemon and Dungeons and Dragons and all those kind of games. So yeah, and I thought it would be funny as well. There is one particular song in my book that Vincent sings called Reasons, and it is a real song, and my version of the track is available on SoundCloud with me singing and playing guitar. I have a guy friend, who is going to be hopefully also recording the song soon for his new album, so maybe we'll have a guy version of that soon. As for the other songs in the book, they aren't real songs yet. I mean, I have the lyrics for them, I haven't written them into real songs, but I do get a lot of requests asking if Vincent's song Bruises can be made into a real song, so I might take a look at that at some point in the near future. I think I might need someone like cool and indie to help me write it. But yes, I will maybe look at making that into a real song if enough people want to hear it. Yes, there is a sequel to the first book. It's a spin-off sequel. It's called Could You Love an Apple, and it's currently being updated on my Wattpad profile where you can read the first draft. It's all about Taylor Raven and his life after the first book has happened, set like a few years in the future. I may revisit some of the old characters. I've had lots of people request for me to write more about Scotty and Vincent. I've had requests for Olive to have her own love story. I've had requests for some of the side characters from Apple to have their own story. I don't quite know what character I'm going to focus on next, whether I should just write something completely different, whether to write some more about these characters that everybody seems to love so much. I'm sure that there are more stories to be told, and I will leave the door open, and I am pretty positive that at some point in the near future I will revisit these characters, yes. I get a lot of requests from people asking me if I can read their Wattpad stories or something that they've written, and it really does mean a lot that people are coming to me to ask me for tips and advice on their writing. It's very, I feel very humbled by that. I'm afraid that just due to the sheer number of people who ask me this, I really am not able to read as many people's works as I would like to. I do dip in from time to time if something particularly catches my eye and maybe leave a little message. And I will always try and answer any specific questions or help with any specific advice. As for reading your work, I will do my best, but I can't always promise that I can do it. But I'm adding everybody's work who asked me onto like a reading list, and I'm hoping that when I finish Could You Love an Apple, in the future I might have a little bit more time to sit and read through some of your work and maybe leave some comments and messages for you, so I will do my best. For those of you who might not be in the know, a ship name, like relationship name, is when one half of the couple and the other half of the couple like merge together to create their couple name. So my real life boyfriend is Matt and I'm Becky, so I always say our couple name is Mackie, which I think is kind of cool. Vincent and Scotty, I don't know what their ship name is. There's been a lot of debate about this. I've heard of Votti, Vinotti, Sconson I think has been thrown around there. I kind of like Viscotti because it kind of sounds like a biscuit, so I think like my official name for them is Viscotti, but I don't know, like I'll go with whatever the fans would think is the best choice. The reason I update so quickly is not because I don't get writer's block, because I do all the time, and I will often sit there in front of a blank word screen and take about 2 hours to write 2 sentences, but I tend to write little and often. I will write a little bit every morning before I go to work. I get up early and write. I'll write a little bit when I come home from work. I always have the characters and the plots and ideas churning around and like ticking over in the back of my head and scribbling little notes down as I'm watching on television. It's just kind of a case of always thinking a little bit about it and having it in the back of your mind, and just making sure that you write something every day, even if it's just one paragraph. And those little paragraphs all add up, and before you know it, you've got enough to have a chapter ready for an update. So that's kind of how I write as quickly as I do. So those were 10 of my most frequently asked questions from readers. I hope you liked this video. If you have any more questions for me, please let me know, comment on this video, send me a message. When I get 10 more questions, I will make a new video and I will give individual shout outs to people who've asked questions, and you can ask me anything you like and I'll do my best to answer them and not make it too boring for you. Reasons to Love a Nerd Like Me is out now on Amazon Kindle. The links are below. Please check it out. Please do download it if you can. It really means so much to get your support. If you would like to review it or just tweet about it, anything like that, anything you can do, everything counts and everything matters, and it all helps me so much in spreading the word and hopefully finding new people who want to read the story. Thank you so much for reading, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!